Hello, Adorians. This is Romel. In an industry like ours, labor or human resource is the most important factor without which other factors of production cannot function properly in the organization. Kicking off this podcast series, we have with us Mr. V.M. Bhide. Apart from the various departments such as legal, corporate, internal audit, and company secretary, he also heads the HR department. Mr. Bhide and his team of human resource managers oversee the most important component of Ador Welding Limited's business, a productive and a thriving workforce. So welcome Mr. Bhide to this podcast. Tell us a bit about yourself and your team.
Thanks Romel for this opportunity. So my name is Bhide. I joined this organization in the year 1993. To be precise, I think it was 4th of January 1993. Before joining Ador, I had also done my commerce graduation and law graduation. After joining this company, I did my company secretary and couple of diplomas. Now talking about my team, I am heading currently 5 departments.
Okay, sir. You have been with this organization for almost 28 years, handling multiple profiles. Of these, which one has been the most challenging and what has this taught you?
The most challenging, I would say that when I was offered the position of company secretary by the management. That was way back in the year 1999. As I mentioned to you earlier, I shifted from an MNC to this Indian MNC. I call erstwhile Advani Olicon and now Ador Welding as Indian MNC because the way we are, we call ourselves Indian MNC, at least I call it. Then we had at that point in time Mr. A.S. Khandwala as the company secretary who resigned in the year 1999. And there was a vacancy of company secretary and management, the then HR head knew about the fact that I have done my company secretary course in the year 1995. So he suggested to the management that why can't we give an opportunity to somebody who has done this course before. So it was quite challenging, but then management had faith in me. Management said that you'll be a success, just give it a try. That's how I got into the shoes of company secretary. And what it has taught me is, if somebody shows faith in you, then you must give it a try.
Then what's the biggest surprise you have had in the last few months? And why would you call them as surprises?
Surprises have been quite a few. I would tell you the biggest pleasant surprise was, we had COVID and almost for about 30 to 45 days, we had shut our factories. That was in the month of April, the full of April, I guess, and 1 or 2 weeks of May. And we had resorted to salary cuts. Of course, we paid back to the employees, that's a different story. But we were in bad shape because there was no business. And first quarter of 2021 was pretty bad. That was April to June 2020. But after that, when after COVID first wave, when the economy started opening up, our sales and marketing guys did really well. So as the plant guys, So if you look at the kind of turnover that we registered for last FY 2021, I'm talking about year before last, and the kind of profit that we reported, that was superb.
Okay, now let me take you to a hypothetical note. Now suppose you have an extra kitty in your budget, say rupees 6 crores. Apart from sharing it with me, how else would you like to spend it and why?
I will not spend this money, I will invest this money. Let me put it this way. And till the time I get a good project, I would try and see that this money is invested in balance funds. So these investments could be in quite a few things. One of the things could be that I will look at the succession plan which we have been trying to do at level 1 and level 2, and I will try and send my colleagues to institutions like IIM and ISB, wherein they can get trained on specific functions. It costs a lot of money, but company will sponsor it. Similarly, we can do this exercise of benchmarking with the industry, which we have. I think this was done last year to a great extent. That we tried to figure out the current salary of employees and we tried to match it with the industry to the extent possible. And I would like to do this exercise. Of course, no speculation. This is an hypothetical question. Let me repeat the question what Romel asked me. Hence, we would try to do this every 3 years at least and benchmark our salaries and make the necessary corrections in the salary of employees. Work from home would be a culture which we have started developing since last 1.5 years. and I will try and see that the employees have a proper infrastructure at home, and company will pay for it again. So some money can be spent on that as well. Then another thing could be healthcare, wherein we already have, many of you wouldn't know that when it came to renewal of group mediclaim this year, our claim ratio was more than 200%. So we had to pay almost 2.5 times the premium that we would have paid last year. Because in COVID we had a lot of claims. We also had unfortunate couple of deaths. As a result of that, we had to pay that kind of premium, and believe me, management paid that kind of premium without changing the sum assured for anybody. In spite of the company having to pay 2.5 times the premium which it had paid year before last, we still paid without changing or reducing the sum assured of any of the employees. Same is the case with GTL, which is called as Group Term Liability Insurance, in which company has paid. So, we will keep on investing, spending this money on healthcare also, because, health is wealth and employees is a strength.
Okay, now, you and I are aware that industry trends and the best practices in the industries keep on evolving, changing. Every day there's practically something new. So how do you and your team continue to learn and stay on top of things within your role?
I am heading a legal function as well as I'm company secretary. So I need to keep myself updated with respect to the recent changes which are happening. Not recent changes, all the changes that are happening to the statute, to the laws, rules and regulations. More so which are affecting our company. Okay. Now say for example, tomorrow if something happens with respect to mutual funds, law regulating mutual funds, I need not worry about it. However, when it comes to Companies Act, when it comes to Factories Act, I need to see that whether that amendment is going to affect my company, and if so, then I need to take care of that. If there are any changes to be made, we need to do that. So as a result of that, I need to keep myself, not just me, my team in legal has to keep itself updated with the recent amendments. On the HR front, I have been a corporate member, again thanks to the management. They have been renewing this membership every year. There is something called as IMA. It's a forum which is based out of, I think, Gurgaon. They also have office in Bombay, I think Nariman Point or BKC somewhere. It's International Market Assessment India Private Limited. They have 3 set of groups. One is for the CEOs. Aditya is a member there. Then there is a group of CFO where Suryakant Sethia is the member, and there is CHRO, Chief Human Resource Officers group. So wherein they hold now webinars almost at least once every month, wherein CHROs of quite a few known big industries, they come together, they discuss on a topic, and they exchange notes, they exchange ideas. So this is how we keep ourselves updated.
Okay, Mr. Bhide, let me ask you one last question. Something just pertaining to you as an individual. There are various portfolios you hold today, but which one of them interests you the most or makes you the most curious to intrigue further, and why?
Okay, I am always at the back of my mind. I always feel that have I not failed on compliances? Because there are hundreds of acts, hundreds of rules and regulations which you need to follow. So knowingly we don't violate any of the laws. However, there could be certain things which is always at the back of my mind. Have I done these things properly? Have I done my compliances properly? And all of that. So I am quite anxious about these things, whether that is happening correctly, on time, whether have I not missed on anything. All of this, this is something which keeps me awake all the time. And of course, when it comes to curiosity, any changes that we try and do in the organization, I'm quite curious in terms of how would employees take it. Be it change in policy, because we sit in corporate office, and we are responsible for making policies, and we are responsible not only for making policies, we have to ensure that those are employee friendly. Majority of the employees take it, and that is something which is always at the back of mind. How will the employees take it?
Right then, thank you, Mr. Bhide. Thank you very much for your time. As usual, it was a pleasure speaking with you. I'm sure our listeners will enjoy this and learn from your experiences. This will further help us in creating the best welding experience.
I hope everybody likes it, and thanks a lot, Romel, for this opportunity. Thanks a lot.